Well, where'd my notes go? What's happening? Where's my pants?
I don't know where your pants are.
All right.
On your
This
head?
is what?
On your head?
Oh, yeah, there they are. Okay. But this is the 266th episode for the 2nd of January, 2025.
3311.
3311.
Not 011. 3311.
11. Yes, I agree with Bloom's on this one. Anyone saying it any other way is wrong.
And we will correct you.
We will. But this, for now, is the Loose Screws podcast. And I don't know why I'm talking like this.
But you're going to have to do it the whole rest of the episode.
That just came out of left field, and now I don't feel like I can stop. But before we launch into all the nothing that's happening in the game because it's been the Christmas break, Blooms, how was your Christmas and New Year's?
You will not believe how my Christmas and New Year's has been. So
I don't know, man. Try me.
Okay, well, Mama Bloom and Wind came to town, and the night of the 22nd, she left her glasses downstairs. So she came downstairs and took a tumble down the stairs and broke her collarbone.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah, so I took her to the emergency room and where I work, and we got her whisked in very quickly into the back. And a resident who was one of my residents in the CCU at one point, who was amazing, saw her, did all the things very right, did all the things very well. He's amazing and incredible. Attending never came and saw the patient, and I'm like, no attending. I'm like, fine. Well, he did everything right. Let's just get the hell out of here. Because my mom was like, I just want to get the hell out of here. So I was like, come on, no attending.
That's fair enough.
I was like, like if it wasn't James, I was like, I would have been pissed. But I'm like, it's James. He's awesome. He's cool. So he did a great job. And I was like basically
Nice.
watching everything he was doing. So it wasn't like I was gonna, I could. All I needed was an X-ray machine, and I could have taken care of my mom. So anyway, so she's going to be with us for much longer than what she originally planned, because she was going to fly
so her
back.
collarbone was actually like fractured, not just fractured.
Yeah. No, it was broken,
man,
and it's separated.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's bad. And so she was supposed to go back on the 26th, and we were supposed to go up to Connecticut to visit the in-laws on the 26th. So I sent the kids and the wife to the in-laws, and I stayed here with my mom. And we saw an orthopedic surgeon who's a friend of mine, and he was like, I'm not too excited about surgery, but let's get a CAT scan. He gets the CAT scan. He reviews the film with another shoulder guy who's, not only a friend of mine, but one of my classmates in med school, and he's also excellent. And, he sees my mom in follow-up, and he's like, you know what? Let's just do PT out, do physical therapy and occupational therapy, and, I don't think, the collarbone separation is going to make that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things other than, cosmetic. And he's like, I'm not excited about operating on an 88-year-old, so.
And I don't blame him for that, to be completely honest.
Yeah, no, I don't either. And so we're all kind of at the stage where we're thinking Mama Bloom and Wind is going to be moving down here sooner rather than later. She may be staying. She's not ready for that yet. But we shall see. I'm hoping she stays. We love her.
Bless her heart and yours.
But she, she would find a new place to stay. But the whole thing is like, her home of 30 plus years, much more than that. It's 1976.
Jeez.
Like almost 50 years, like 48 years, and all that. Just, it's a lot of change. And
right.
Anyway, and so that was my Christmas and my New Year's. And as far as in game, I did the whole Santa Claus thing, which was fun. Got ganked twice. It's fine.
Oh, and I got stories about the Santa Claus thing. That's why I put it in the notes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the notes. And then so I did that. I've been filling my fleet carrier with tritium, and got a Vista Genomics module, and got a cartographic module in the run up to Distant Screws 3, which I'm getting very excited about.
Oh, good. Which route are you taking? You go into Dryman's Point, or you planning on going to Colonia?
I think. I mean, isn't it Draymond's Point then Colonia?
They're halfway to Drayman's Point, however you say it. I just say Drymond's because that's how my brain saw it. But
Yeah.
halfway to that is a last stop at a DSSA carrier, where
Uh-huh.
at that point, if you bear literally just straight west and inwards towards the core, it takes you straight to Colonia. Or from that point, you can keep going all the way out to the end of that arm at Drymond's Point.
Oh, I'm gonna go to where you make a left at Colonia.
Nice. Yeah,
That's what I'm gonna do because I've never
yeah.
been to Colonia. I'm gonna unlock.
You've never been to Colonia?
I've never been to Colonia.
What? My
Yeah.
mind is as blown as when I found out you can repair module reinforcements with an AFMU.
Yeah, no, I've never been to Colonia. I mean, I've been to the bubble, I've been to the baby bubbles, but I've never really done any sort
Okay,
of significant
you're going to
exploring.
Colonia then, because
I
it
am
is
going to I am going to Colonia.
gorgeous out there.
I mean, we've had things like Thargoid Wars, we've had community goals with double engineered modules. Every time I thought about, hey, maybe I want to do this Colonia thing, something really cool happens. And I'm like, no, I really don't want to. I mean, I have size 6 and size 5 corrosion resistant cargo racks because I've never been to Colonia. I have 3 power plants I do not know what the hell to do with that are like super engineered, but they run really hot. And they're sitting on my fleet carrier because I didn't go to Colonia. I stuck around. I have that Hudson, what is it? Kill warrant scanner, like the long range
Oh,
fast.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that thing. And even though I don't like Hudson, but I love that thing.
Okay,
And
no one
so,
likes Hudson.
yeah, no one likes Hudson, but it's a great module. I wish they actually made that module like a V1 unlock, but that's a cool module. So yeah, and it's all because I've stuck around the bubble and always been in enough distance where I'm like I can always come back. But
Dude.
I'm really excited about Distance Cruise 3
Oh, I'm
because
so glad.
yeah, really excited about it. So
That just warms my heart, seriously.
yeah,
I'm so glad.
yeah. So I'm filling the fleet carrier up and slowly but surely, and like getting all the modules ready, making sure I have everything I need to bring with me to Colonia. There's not performance stimulators. What is the thing you need to bring for that one chick?
Oh, frick, I don't know. It's on an
Anyway,
arc.
whatever it is. So yeah, I just have to go pick those things up. Progenitor cells. I have to go pick up some progenitor cells.
That's the one, yeah,
Yeah.
put them on your carrier storage if you're taking
Yeah.
your carrier, and there
Oh
you
yeah,
go.
yeah. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, but I've been busy, so I haven't done that one yet. Because it's always annoying to figure out where do I have to go get those. Oh, I have to go get them, and then so that's like
Nice.
one night's activities. Yeah, no. So that's what I've been up to is getting ready, and then we did some Powerplay Shenanigans last night, where I developed 4 units of notoriety.
Is that the
And
most you've ever had?
that's the most I've ever had. That's more than I've had total area under the curve combined. Like I've only had notoriety of 1 twice. I don't like being notorious. So
I've sat at a notoriety of 9 for, like, months at one
yeah,
point.
yeah. I set up my I jumped out to where I like to go mining, and I was like, I'm going to leave my computer on tonight. And so I did that, and I woke up this morning and I went and got to check it and see how much notoriety I had left, and it was the tick night. So I
Rip.
have 4 notoriety because it was like, oh, the servers all went down for maintenance because it's
Auto-logged.
Wednesday to Thursday. Yep, I got auto logged. I was like, damn it.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry, but that's hysterical.
yeah, I forgot what day of the week it is because it's the forget what day of the week it is and eat cheese week of the year.
It really is, and oh my gosh, like, I thought it was Friday, like, on Tuesday and today. I'm so off from these last 2 weeks.
Yeah. So tell us about your last 2 weeks.
Well, the last 2 weeks have been alright. It was a weird Christmas, not necessarily a bad Christmas, but just not as much Christmas cheer in our house as there normally is, even with all of the freaking decor up, which, if you know me, we do decor, like, walk into our house, get punched in the face with Christmas type decor. And it helped, but it was just, I don't know, it was just a weird Christmas. And it was the same for New Year's. It just, when it's in the middle of the week, it just throws me off because
Mm.
it's so far outside of my routine in the middle of everything that it's hard. I don't know why
Yep.
that is.
Yeah, Wednesday federal holidays are always rough. I mean, it's good for me because it's a busy day of the week for me, so having
Right.
it off is always welcome. But it's just, you don't know quite. Do I take a couple days off before? Do I take a couple days off after? And
Right.
I ended up just not taking any days off this week other than the 30th, which I had planned to take off because I was supposed to be in Connecticut. But and
Right. But the
yeah,
whole thing.
yeah. But then it
Right.
was like, I mean, fortunately, I took all that time off, because I was planning on being out of town. Because then, at least I was able to still be off.
Yeah.
So
Man,
yeah.
yeah, I've outside of like Christmas and New Year's festivities, I've been brainstorming events to do for Distant Screws 3 all the way up into
Mhm.
the last crossroads point where you either go to Colonia or Dryman's Point. I'm going to Dryman's Point because I've been to Colonia like 4 or 5 times now. Um, on my second time there is when I unlocked all the engineers, and I only had to stay out there for like week and a half, maybe 2 weeks,
Mhm.
um, to get them all unlocked and everything set up and the right things pinned and get him to G5 and blah, blah, blah. And that's how I ended up with a bunch of randomly engineered stuff. Because
Yeah.
at a certain point out there, it's like, oh crap, I need to engineer something to get rep. Hey, look, a chaff launcher.
There you go. Can't have
Yep.
too many lightweight shaft launchers.
I didn't lightweight it. I put more freaking chaff in it.
More chaff on it. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. I have.
it becomes a game of that if you stay out there long enough.
Yeah.
But
Are there a lot of people
only,
out there?
sorry?
Are there a lot of people out there?
I saw a few. I got ganked once in Colonia in
Nice.
like the actual system.
Yeah.
But the other times, since I was in my adder, because the time I went out there to do the engineer specifically, I flew out there the whole way in my adder. And alarm's going off. Hold on. Shut up.
Yep.
Okay. And
Of course, you flew out there in your adder.
oh, it was a great trip. That ship had like a 35 light year jump range and it had weapons and armor. And after I got ganked that one time, I realized that my adder was way faster than his ship, and he never caught me again, even after interdicting me. It was
Oh,
kind of hilarious.
that is glorious. With clean drives.
Yeah, with clean enhanced performance drives. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just cake to get away. When I realized all I had to do was hit boost, and it's like, bye, have a nice
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
My
that's when I
T6 has.
started referring to an adder as a hatchback Honda Civic with a cool air intake in it.
Yeah, I think it's a little more than a Honda Civic. I mean, the Zorgon Peterson ships are just like Trax was waxing philosophical about them on the Discord today. I mean,
Well,
they
the
they're
Adder
they
is
are
the exception. The Adder is Zorgon Peterson's budget ship to get you around town.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's kind of like, when you have the as you said, like kind of that instead of the Honda Civic, it's like, whatever it's like the Abarth instead of the
Okay, fine.
Fiat.
It's an Acura.
Yeah, it's an Acura.
There you go.
That's the
Yes.
beauty of it. It's the Acura. It's got the leather. It's got a bigger engine.
Oh shoot. But
And
yeah,
she
it's just yeah, I'd recommend Colonia to anyone. Do unlock the engineers while you're out there. It's a lot of fun. Everywhere you go is gorgeous. And I can't believe you haven't been out there. It still just blows my mind.
yeah.
But that's why this time I'm going all the way to Dryman's Point because in all the exploring I've done, I have literally never been to the edge of the galaxy and I want to.
You might fall off. Be careful. Don't
Yeah,
bring a
I'm an
cat.
Asp Scout. I'll be fine. But
Ooh,
that's what
we
was
have a
going
guest.
on with me. And so now I'm curious, since you just joined JN Tracks, how was your Christmas and your New Year's, sir?
Oh my God. It was hi, how's it going?
It's
It was
going.
good. It was good. Chill times. Let's see. Well, I have a 9-year-old, so Christmas is kind of about that. She now I'm gonna list the gifts she got
Let's
because
go.
that's how parents live.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I'm a grown up and I didn't really I buy stuff that I want. So
So
but
she got a job as barge Lego.
Yeah, one more thing before you start. My wife and I, because we're so like, I don't want to just wait. We went Christmas shopping together this year, and just picked
Oh,
out stuff
okay.
for each other while we were with each other, and it was great fun.
My folks, years ago, my folks started doing this thing where they bought things for themselves and then wrapped it so that it was a surprise for the other person. It was like a
Yeah, my wife does.
surprise. Yeah, what you here? Look what you got me. You know, that kind of thing. Kind of fun. Yes. So Kiddo got a Nintendo Switch,
Ooh.
Nice.
which I know is like old news, and who knows, Nintendo Switch 2 is around the corner. But anyway, this is like her first like video game console, and
It's okay. The Switch is a good choice. It's the GameCube of this generation.
yeah, it's cool, and obviously the form factor is really good for sharing and all the other kinds of things that we can do, and the games, a lot of games that are about her speed. But yeah, she was starting to get to a place where it's like she was almost like left out because other kids could play video games and she had no experience with it. And so now it's like I kind of like playing Mario Kart by myself because the computers aren't that good. And I was like, yeah, that's how Mario Kart does it. That's how Mario Kart does it. That's how they keep it fun for everybody.
Yeah.
But you know, you get good at what you practice, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll work it out.
So she plays Mario Kart in solo.
Yeah, basically.
Mario Kart and so
The art of rubber banding. Yeah.
My son and I were playing Mario Kart one time when he was younger. We had the Wii, and we decided we were going to play, live against other people, and we accidentally got on like the Korean server.
Oh no!
It was like crazy. It was like these, world-class competitive Mario Kart people, and we're just getting murdered.
I played Guild Wars 2 for a while. I know what that is.
Man, I had her. I have like emulator stuff for like old Nintendo, set up in various ways to play, and she was like, "Oh, I want to." She had tried Mario Kart 8, on her friend's Switch over at their house. We all played together, and my, has it come a long way. And so she was like, "Oh, I want to play Mario Kart on your little emulator." They call it my Beep Boops machine because it plays these old games. I want to play Mario Kart, and I was like, "Sure." Like that game's so much harder. The old Super NES,
the Super Nintendo one is so difficult.
God.
I can't believe we were as good as it as we were back in the day.
Yeah, I can get used to it. I can pick it up. But yeah, you don't realize like the way that thing drove originally, it's like steering from the back wheels, like your rear end is sliding out every time you turn even a little bit. It's wild. And she was like, she stuck with it for a few tries, but she was just getting absolutely ruined. And eventually she was like, this is not a fun game. I'm like, yeah, they've really changed. Things have changed, and you don't have to feel bad about that. But yeah, don't go back to Super NES. It's different. Well, that thing, what else? She got a fish tank, so that's been fun. She has these 3 little fish that she's taking care of now. Stuff like that. We had, so what is it? Was it like last night or the night before New Year's? We went to our friend's house and they'd made a bracket, like a sports tournament bracket of important and impactful events of 2024. Nice. Or people or things, you know what I mean? And like pitted them against each other by categories. And we had a good time kind of voting and running it all the way down to pick the most important thing, or however you want to think about it. So that was a pretty cool idea, a fun game that we all played.
Yeah. Now those NCAA tournament type things are always fun.
Yeah. And there was a couple of it was well, whatever. It was all the things that happened, good and bad.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, just you're hashing out what you think is, I like this one better, that one better,
right? And trying to convince you. We'd run into a tie sometimes, and it was like, change my mind. And sometimes, there was a few where we were doing it. We were like, oh, well, let me explain this to you, and it's like, actually, I'm flipping my vote. Really good time.
Good.
And other than that, it's just it's been we've been power playing. What else can I say?
Yeah.
Playing powers.
Playing Powers.
Still doing it. I
Is that
don't know if this is gonna
Powers' his younger brother, or I've got
I don't know if
sorry.
I don't know how much we're gonna get into this later or something, but I finally succumbed to the truth and stopped trying to pretend Elite was the way I think it should be, and started playing it the way it is, which is to say, they can say to you, pick your power, look at the ethos, or look at what the power leaders stand for. But there's actually only one factor that decides what power you're going to join, and that is, where are your friends playing? Because if you do like me and pick a power, like decide that I don't care about any of these people, so I may as well, role play the pirate killer, then you end up just totally separated from everybody you play this game with, and it starts to get dull, and you start to wonder, why are you even logging in?
Yeah.
And then eventually the opportunity comes to kick some federal ass. And so I gave up 60 ranks of power play and flipped. So, but now but that's because the needle was finally ready to move. And last night we kicked a big one over the edge, and now Archer's on his heels in that system. We're gonna make him pay. So,
and we're not going to say what system, because screw you, Archer.
well, I just saw a screenshot suggesting he's finally noticed, but I put up a lot of points earlier today before he even noticed. So we'll see what we can do. That's me.
Yep.
Nice. Well, let's move on to the squad update. And the squad update is someone do the sound for me, because I totally just plowed right through.
Do you want the real one? Do you want the real one?
Sure.
All you gotta do is open this thing, man. Discoboard.io. By the way, plug for discoboard.io, which is a little
nice
Discord bot.
IO doesn't work because I'm not a server admin, so I'm not allowed to have that.
You don't have to be a server admin. Why do you think that?
Because that's what it told me last time I tried.
I think you misread something.
Okay, well,
you probably tried to add it to a server. It's already in this server. You just need to log in.
Oh.
So you go to discoboard.io. You log, if you're wanting to add it to your Discord server, then you can push that button. But just log in, and for free, you can put 3 sounds in here. And when you click on one of them, the bot will join whatever voice channel you're in at the time and play a sound. Play that sound. That's all it is. So, and I'm going to play the squad briefing sound. And sometimes you have to click it twice because he joins the first time, but he's silent. So I'm going to click it again.
Incoming priority message. Squadron briefing.
Well, alrighty. So, squad update. We're basically doing lots and lots of power play, and it's a really great time. So, come to the Powerplay channel and look at what we're up to, and come join us. In addition to that, BGS is completely borked, and not in the you're going to get a free fleet carrier sort of way. So be on the lookout
it's
for
borked in the LOL you're doing BGS kind of way.
Yeah.
BGS does you.
Yes. Yeah. So until our friends at FDev fix whatever is broken in BGS. We're just gonna, if we need to do something where we need some bounties or something, we'll have a Piranha Night. Be on the lookout for those. And we're just waiting for colonization to get started, and then we're gonna do some colonization things. So that is the squad update.
So I guess I only have heard whispers of this on the wind. There are bugs beyond just power play is messing with things in the way that they promised it wouldn't, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So first of all, power play has been a big seismic shift because you have people going all sorts of places, doing all sorts of things, and it has effects on influence, presumably primarily in favor of the controlling faction. So you have a lot of systems where the controlling faction is overheating. There have been rampant, expansion mania, which can be very frustrating to a faction's neighbors if, you keep overheating and you're not doing anything about it, or you're not able to do anything about it. And their expansion plan gets short-circuited by your not being able to cool off your systems or something like that. So that gets people upset.
Which is very foreseeable, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All they have to do is look at what's going on in Powerplay, and they'd be like, "Oh, this is going to happen."
Yeah.
It just looked like what they planned on Powerplay to be. It's like, what do you think what do you think would happen if we put a system like Powerplay in? Oh, well, I mean, all the controlling factions would go absolutely ape, right?
Yeah. Right.
I think
Obviously.
Thomas still pegged at 93%.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so we've got those, but the whole thing is now you can't expand. All expanding has been turned off. Or I don't know if it was deliberate. I don't know if it was a glitch, but you can't expand. So there hasn't been expansion for at least a couple of months now. I'd have to go back and see how far there hasn't been anyone's been able to expand. But retreat, which was not working, now, according to Volt, I mean, it is working now. But apparently, if what Bork says is, if what Volt says is true, you can go into retreat in a system. And you can raise your influence so that you're above 2.5% or you're above 5%. And you could be like 10% and you're going to still get kicked out of the system.
So once retreat starts, it can't stop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Volt said. I haven't verified it, but we have, according to Inara, a retreat pending in 5 Andromeda. So we're either going to get kicked out or we're not. And so...
Yeah.
There's retreat.
Yeah, so we shall see what happens, and just roll with it with whatever we get. So, but at least we'll have a little bit better understanding of that. But yeah, they're going to have to fix some stuff. Otherwise, the only way you're going to be able to expand is through colonization, which might be the plan all along. And it might be.
Well, they'll certainly need to have a look, have a fine-tooth comb over all these things.
Yeah.
For the time when that comes out. So, I mean, this is clearly something that's going to touch all these systems, and it will either accidentally or intentionally fix / replace some of these bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you ask me, the turning some things off so it isn't completely unfair and then going to Christmas break may have been halfway intentional so they can have certain data points when they come back to the office. So to be like, okay, we need to change X, Y, and Z and then just get right to work on it. But that's just me being the eternal optimist that I am. I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know what they do or don't know at this point. But I mean, the whole all of a sudden out of the blue expansion not working after runaway expansion feels deliberate.
Yeah, that feels like an oh shit. But we all have to go home. What can we do that we're sure will work right now?
Yeah. I know. Turn off the lights.
Yeah, like just literally turn off this feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
communication
would have been nice for that, but but again, we are talking about our friends at FDev.
Whatever do you mean?
Laugh says it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we have a hot fix for the Thargoid thing. Oh, by the way, you can't expand. So.
Oh my God, the Thargoids! You remember that?
Yeah,
Thargoids. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shoot! But
speaking of Thargoids, there was a Thargoid event. Actually, I should check quickly to make sure to see if it's still prior to happening.
While you're checking on that, I want to talk about the one Galnet we had over the Christmas break, which is that Sandra from Frost Dock at the bottom of the bubble.
Oh yeah, this old chestnut.
The south part of the bubble was able to get a whole bunch of presents delivered to children, thanks to the help of brave commanders. I have some stories. I heard Blooming Wind got ganked a few times, so why don't you tell us about that?
Oh.
Yeah. So like I mean, I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna do this in open. I don't care. I got lots of credits. I got lots of rebuys, whatever. So, and I got lots of time. So I loaded up my Phantom with presents and a few extras just so I could have some rares on my fleet carrier. And I got to this second system and a Python Mark II pulled me and I was obliterated pretty quickly. And then, I reloaded and I went back to that system in solo, and then I went back out into open and went to a few more systems. And someone pulls me in a Cobra Mark V, and they were able
Was
to
it
take
me?
out my. No, it wasn't you. But they were able to take out, unless you have an alias. But they took me, but they were delaying. And before I could offer them, a present, they just kind of. They got me, but it was just one of those things where it was just like, it took a while for him to kill me. It was just like he kept plucking at me. He just didn't have the DPS to, he got my engines. So I was stuck not moving. And then it just took him for a while.
He didn't ask you for a present?
I wanted him to ask me for a present because I would have given him a present.
Come on,
I mean,
Delaney, you're better than that.
Yeah, I mean, that would have made the whole getting yanked experience so much richer, is that he could have been like, give me a present and I'll let you go. And I would have been like, abso-fraggin-lutely, I'll give you a present,
Yeah.
But they just kind of sucked the joy out of that in a certain way. It was just like, they just wanted me dead. And I'm like, okay. I built a tissue paper, 70 or 80 light year or 70 light year jumping phantom, that I do stuff like this in. And I know the consequences of that, which is, they better run away really fast, or you're going to die, and they have ships faster than me and I die. But it's fine. It was fun.
Yeah. I ran that one around too. Did it in the Cobra Mark V. Very fun ship. Very fun ship. Love it. I think I grabbed like I think I had 32 cargo, so I grabbed 32 presents. Why not? I like this thing because it's like there's like a little bit of a puzzle, but it's like a wordplay puzzle. It's not code breaking, which I don't personally have the patience for.
You mean inverse matrices are not fun to you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could be, but I usually like, maybe if I was with people and we were doing it together, it'd be like interesting. But it's I don't know. I'm not great at that stuff, so I get frustrated with it. This was just tricky. A couple of them were just tricky enough that they weren't the first thing you think of. So I did throw a couple of presents into the wrong spot and then be like, why isn't it working? I must have something wrong, And there was some fun system chat where it was like, what am I doing wrong here? And people are trying to like give a hint that isn't the answer, which is nice. I got to return the favor in another system where somebody asked, and I was like, oh, like, have you thought about said my own little riddle to try to show them what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody, I didn't get shot at. I did shoot at several people, but I made sure to arm my Cobra only with festive flat cannons from the previous times that this thing has happened. So
nice.
I think I did scare the shit out of at least one person before they realized they weren't taking any damage. But anyway, yeah, cool event as usual.
It really was. I actually really liked the writing in it with the little emails / letters that you would get from the kids.
Yeah.
Like the second one made me laugh, from Mia Guilford, age 7. Hello, Sandra. Please, can you send a joke book to give to my daddy? Whenever he says the name of our home, he says is High City and laughs a lot, even though it's not funny. And I just thought that was hysterical.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was really good. Very festive.
Yeah. And I like the blue Christmas paint jobs too. Definitely going to use those next season.
I'm starting to get quite a collection of holiday-ish paint jobs from like Twitch and these sorts of things that I always forget about and don't use.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can use them on all the ships except my Asp Scout, which shall always be chrome. Because it's the Nickelback.
Yes. Yeah, I understand. I just wasn't going to say it.
Yeah.
No, I had to bring that up because Blooming Wind said that to a new guy, and then I couldn't find the screenshot for a while.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if FDev did, some of these paint jobs for different ships. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we just don't get enough love in some of the core dynamic ships, and
they do hit the high points a lot and nothing else. Well, yeah, you understand why, but at the same time, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I get the why. Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I do use my Phantom quite a bit, so a new Phantom paint job is always something good. And you know, although I don't have anything on my Anaconda other than the one of the ice flow ones from last winter from Twitch Drops.
Didn't this include Anaconda?
Yes, this one included Anaconda.
Okay, yeah,
But
I thought so.
but the ice flow one from last year is the one I use on my Anaconda. So that
Right
and that was
on.
like but that's one of the Twitch drops from the community whatever. So
From whatever the December stream, probably.
yeah, the December stream. So that one I liked a lot, and so but yeah, so that one's good. But I have a ton for certain ships. I don't even own a Fertilance, and I probably have 15 paint jobs for the Fertilance that I didn't buy. Yeah, so
Cool.
I could paint 15 Fertilances.
Well,
that's good stuff. So what? Excuse me. So what then, Trex, is happening with the Thargoid war thing?
well, the Thargoid war is over, my friend.
Well, yeah.
It's over, and much to the chagrin of people who like good stories, nothing happened. No, they're still on vacation. There'll be more news eventually, but the Thargoid war ended, and now there's just a husk sitting out there over Earth, and there's a commemoration beacon or whatever for the
Nice.
2-year-long war. Yeah, some pretty cool videos have come along about it, stuff like that. But it's not to be counted out. We have these giant player groups who have dedicated themselves to Thargoid combat. And what are they left to do? So here's what they're left to do, because I've got this alert a few days ago that they're planning on January 12 a Proteus wave site assault. Yes, they're going to go to the one place in the galaxy that still has an anti-Guardian field.
Let's go.
And they're apparently just going to stir some shit up. So I went there, I think the last podcast episode, flying around, we kind of went there to experiment with what it was. And yeah, you drop into space anywhere, the Thargoids will come and get you. So they're planning multiple wings. They're going to have multiple voice channels potentially. AXI on the stage again. AXI and the Xeno Strike Force, multiple wings. They're going to set, basically, they need some people with anti-Guardian field protected Gauss cannon builds for killing the sniping hearts on the Hydras and the Medusas that slip through. But everybody else is just maximum shard cannons. Just AGF shard cannons, AGF modded shard cannons, and just ruin every Thargoid stay that comes through there. So I don't know what's going to come of this. Let's be honest, the answer is nothing. But they're going to kill a bunch of Thargoids in the one place where the remnant of the Thargoid war still exists. So
I would actually like it, and I don't know if this will happen or not, because I don't know if anyone's tried that hard. If they started doing it and then it got just like the next day or the next tick or whatever, the Thargoid controlled system tag over it and it started being pushed down. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, you don't know until you try, I guess, but I see no reason. I see no reason that'll happen. They scheduled it for the 12th. I assume people will be back at work at Frontier Tower by then. So
it is England, so you never know. I'm going to get in trouble with like Burr and Reaney on that one. I'm sorry, guys.
I believe he called you lazy.
Holidays, how else would they have time to go get so many scarves?
Very true.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But yes, that was the last podcast that you flew in there, Trax. I remember that because that was also the podcast where Daxie's wife called him Daxie.
Oh, yeah. Some people were on board my ship when I was in there chasing the Medusas around. So, dev news. Nope.
There is one Thargoid related thing I'd like to talk about because I think it's hysterical.
Yeah.
The Thargoids are hysterical now. Do you know how many people died, Lark?
No, the Thargoids aren't hysterical. It's just humanity being worse is hysterical.
Yes. So,
and this is an example of humanity sucks, and the Thargoids should have won.
So, Trujo or Kojio or Cookies or whatever it was, Came into Sol, captured a bunch of systems around it, right? They're all thargoid controlled, pushes the humans out, blah, blah, blah. So we go through, we retake everything, thargoids are defeated. Then the folks over in the federal faction, Jerome Archer, submitted a bug report saying, well, Archer isn't present in any of the systems the thargoids took over anymore.
Yeah, I believe the quote was millions of control points deleted from Archer space.
Yeah. to which I had a
Completely on
large
brand.
amount of laughing at the time. And my favorite quote from the bug report is, quote, I don't see how the Thargoid War should affect power play at all, unquote. Go.
The Thargoid War was the seed from which power play grew.
Not only that,
my good federal friend.
Not only that, but it's almost as if having an alien race come in and disable and destroy all of your infrastructure is going to make it so you have almost to no influence there because there aren't any humans to have influence over.
The having a human population of 0 in a system actually does interfere with power play, turns out.
That's bad for power play?
I know this sounds weird. They didn't get to this in the big thread where they answered all the questions, which is a shame. They really should have explained it because this is so confusing. Yeah, so turns out the way Powerplay 2.0 works is you have to have at least one human. Yep. That's it.
But seriously, though, I laughed that entire rest of the week from that thread. And I even submitted my own, from my account, thing of could not repeat, Federation is gone, seems to be working to me.
Federation exterminated, evacuated.
Yeah, so apparently we need to thank the Thargoids for pushing the Federation out of Sol and the surrounding systems.
Now they got back in.
They did, unfortunately, but still, it was nice while it lasted.
Yeah, I was so hoping that that one of the Empire powers would take over Sol.
Yeah, was it close?
It was close. Like Aisling Duval almost pulled it off.
Nice.
But they couldn't quite get across because the problem was like everyone who saw that could have been like, oh yeah, well we're all Aisling Duval supporters now just to make that happen. But it's like I don't want to go back to level 1.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
Right.
It was intended this way, right? That we shouldn't jump powers. I mean, says the guy who just gave up 60 ranks. Well,
I mean, it's but you're kind of.
I did it for a reason. Yeah, not just on a whim.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. But that's once again like that's tough.
But you went from like role play to pragmatism, so to speak, in the sense that like for most of us it was like our space is Li Yangrui's space, and so we want to influence our space, even if our space doesn't mean the same thing now that it meant 3 months ago. But you're like I'm more philosophically aligned with the
concept of chaos.
Yeah, the concept of chaos, or at least the concept of liberty. Or at least the concept of liberty.
I'm not judging.
I don't want to say that I'm philosophically aligned with a person who just kills people and takes their stuff all the time. but
I
he
was
also philosophically
represents...
opposed to everybody else.
Yeah, because they're doing the same thing. They're just not being honest about it.
What you are, Trax, is you're philosophically aligned with memes.
I believe that I was trying to do what they said power play was about, which is they say like look at the powers and see if anybody agrees with you. Look at what benefits they offer and what their ethos is. And if you're into mining, you want to go with Torval or somebody else who you know what I mean, that has bonuses or other things related to that. So I went that way, right? It was like, oh well, if I'm gonna go lore wise, I think these guys are all quacks, or
Mhm.
fascist assholes. This guy's at least not that, or at least not lying about what he is, kind of thing, and that bears out in I think the lore that they've put out there. And then likewise, your three ethoses, depending on the different things you're doing. Combat. So it was like around the lane for me, but it also, like, the bonuses affect things a little bit, but it's really not. It's really just a gentle nudge. It doesn't mean that you can't, you can do all the activities in all of the things. Like, it's not like, well, for acquiring, you can only do these things if you're with this power, but if you're with another power for acquiring, you can do different stuff. It's really, turns out it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
And just because it is so hard, it is so difficult to kind of move a power, it really just comes down to geography.
Yeah.
Which I don't love, and likewise, it comes down to geography and soul. There was really only one power that had a shot of getting in there before Archer could take it back.
Yeah.
So
The memes are fun though.
the memes are fun. I feel I'm disappointed that it's not a little more interesting than that, but, like, I don't know. I don't know how I would make it that, because, like, I guess if I had my way and the geography didn't matter, I could be pledged to DOIN and still work anywhere in the galaxy.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would look like on the spreadsheet. So
Yeah. But you can always undermine. Like, that's the whole thing, is you can always undermine anywhere, right?
well,
Other
honestly,
than your own space.
That's what I thought. That was kind of what kept me going. I was like, well, I'm just going to do this, and maybe it'll be a little different because I can't take a system with you guys, but I can help you guys undermine Archer even if I'm a different power. It's actually pretty difficult.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff that doesn't work because I'm too far away from. There's a lot of undermining things that don't work unless you are close to a supporting system from your power. Is what it comes down to.
Yeah. What is it?
It's like the
Reinforced
system
system.
strength. There's a system strength penalty, which is to say if you're undermining a system, how many systems is that one propped up by? How many fortified or strongholds is that system propped up by the enemy? And then reciprocally, there is a frontline penalty or frontline distance penalty or something like that.
Right.
So how far are you from your supporting systems when you undermine in that system? And so I'm absolutely out of range of all of mine. So there were several activities that were just off the list, just absolutely don't work. I could still generally do power play kills, kind of was almost the only thing I could reliably do. And it was just very weakened, right? Because I didn't have my power's support in doing that. So it just kind of sucked. So when it came right down to it, when we saw this system was within range and we could actually tick it over, it was like, okay, I'm going to move over here right now and then just put my full weight against it. And we did get a wing together last night and got some really, really good instances running. Undermining is still a lot tougher than fortifying. And that, I think I'm totally justified in saying, is wrong and needs to change if this system's really going to continue for the foreseeable future.
Right.
In my opinion, undermining should be more powerful, but at the very least, it needs to be equalized because right now it is weak. It's difficult to do. I don't know if the control points don't count as much. I'm not saying it's weak in that sense, but it's difficult to do. Now, if it was balanced in how easy it is to earn points, undermining versus fortifying, then that would be equilibrium. And I would like to see it shifted a little more toward undermining because I want to see turnover. I just want to see chaos out there.
Yeah.
That is what would make the system be interesting to me. So
Yeah. Now, I think that, a lot of the newcomers like us to power play, and I think, people who were kind of casual power play people before who were just doing it for the modules or whatever, would love to see a dynamic power play setup. The problem is that even with any sort of dynamic, we put our, the FDev puts its finger on the scales and says, okay, we're going to boost up, undermining a little bit more. You still have these factions, leaderships, negotiating with each other.
Mhm.
You know, you
F
don't
that
touch this
noise.
one.
I hate that so
You
much.
know, and yeah, I mean, with BGS, I mean, it was always nice to have that stability of your neighbors are not going to come in and fuck your shit up. Because it's very easy to do. You have a low population system, and someone comes in and does a bunch of missions or whatever, they can completely set something askew. But I think for this power play to get people butts and seats and playing games and whatnot, you don't want the thing to come to a glacial halt and just be at equilibrium. You want it to be, oh crap, there's like been a strike into Yongrui space. We need to counter it. Oh, there's been a we're going to go and we're going to take out this. We're going to purge all of Archer stuff from Screw Space or whatever. And get
It's
people
less
behind us to do it.
personal.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you're managing the BGS of this faction that is like, vacillating in population and interest between a dozen people to maybe over 100 at some point with us personally, and like this number of systems getting up there, then maybe winnowing its way down, but it's more personal. It has our name on it, and it's a lot smaller. And the power play areas are way bigger than any one faction, and a lot less personal because of that. So I think it's okay, right? That's why I think it's not the same thing as I feel really bad because I worked hard at this and then someone kicked down my sandcastle. It's really not. You're aligned with thousands of people at all times that you don't know and haven't communicated with really directly.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's different.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like you agree. So
no, I agree. I think that's why I think they need to put the finger on the scale to help with undermining
chaos.
Yeah, I want the chaos. Bring the chaos because and like I said, it was just the leadership of power play in some of our neighboring powers.
And I hate that word leadership because they're not. The leaders of the power play are Archer and freaking Lee Rui and everyone. Those are the leaders of power play, not these freaking discords saying, "Oh, but we have an agreement." And blah, blah,
we were
blah.
the first one. We were the first one to put our name on, or to put the power's name on a Discord server, and therefore, and enough people joined it that it became the de facto one, and therefore we're in charge.
Yeah, screw that noise. Give a bit, not too much, but a bit of power to the commander that just wants to go out there and be like, well, screw this system in particular. I want to go against these guys.
Yeah. And hopefully like the new blood is going to have an influence on that, because, like with the Thargoid War, when the Thargoid War started, some of there was like, who's in charge, who's making the decisions. I remember Nurgle complaining about the Council of Humanity being just crazy and either not knowing what end was up or what the real priorities are in fighting the war and how to approach things. And, it was just, it like real life gets really political and it's like, if we want to save humanity, you knuckleheads, but they were kind of, but ultimately it kind of, developed into something really dynamic and good that was actually, okay, these guys are doing their thing and then these guys are doing their thing, but there was enough rhythm to it that the people who are repairing and like the Operation Ida people would come in and clean up after systems were restored or in the recovery phase. You know what I'm saying? So like
there was a simplicity to the rhythm too, because it wasn't just because there were people in leadership positions. They weren't barking orders. They were saying, this is the Titan that has the fewest control systems. We've decided that's probably the thing that means we should attack it next. And likewise with repairing, I made myself privy to all of the Operation Ida broadcasts and stuff like that to see, what they were saying through the whole process. And it was like, these are the ground ports. These are the ports with large pads. And it was all very pragmatic. It was like these things are going to fill up the easiest. After that, there will be this that'll be a little more difficult and take a little longer, kind of thing. And people just kind of flowed through. And there's a heat map, not a heat map exactly, but there's info provided through the galaxy map, which is helpful too. And the same thing goes for power play too. You can see activity levels. You can filter by that too, so even if you don't pay attention to the Discord, you can look and just see where are people tending to. So it does allow a level of organic following of the leader,
Yeah.
circular following of the leader, if it is,
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, but I think that's honestly what these power discords need to become. They need to become facilitators, not we're the
Yeah.
leadership of this power, because they're not. Straight up, you're not. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
And I'm still impressed, I would say, with the way the Archon Delane Discord is, because it's like that. It's a list of, I mean, there's a lot more to it, but as far as like directives, it's a list of what's available. It's a list of which systems are closer to conflict and what help. It's saying these are the activities that'll be effective in this kind of system. If you're up for this, so you could look and say, I'm up for this activity, where will it be useful? Or I could say, I want to help this system, what activities would be useful? Either way, the info's there and easy to read. But I don't see anybody over there saying you have to do this. Oh, and they celebrate, the leaderboard. That's basically what's going on in that Discord, because it's chaos. And yelling at each other to not fly any power play outside of open mode.
Yeah.
That I like about them.
Yeah.
Which I pledge to still do personally, for the sake of it.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because power play is a PvP game mode, like it or not.
Yeah. I was hoping we would have run into somebody last night.
I've actually already been destroyed by a Fed guy.
Oh, good for you.
The way you said that.
You know what? Good for you.
Like New Jersey grandma here all of a sudden.
I had the only I've had a few power play interactions. One where a Delane, I was moving some power play cargo actually, and a Delane player kind of got in my face and threw a hatch breaker at me, and then noticed that, that he'd made a mistake. It was like, oh shoot, and he turned off his limpet and stuff.
Funny.
And then like the guy coming out of the slot right behind me was like, do you want one? He was like, haha, and gave him 1 unit of whatever and went on his way. Then there was, let's see, I ran into an Archer Corvette, and I think I was flying the Mandalay. So I flew up next to him and kind of waved at him with the lights and stuff like that. And he gave me in the chat kind of the, what are you going to do about it? So, I was like, all right, well, I tested his shield. I wasn't going to be able to kill that ship. I probably could have survived the fight as long as I wanted if I had to. But it wasn't going to happen. So I tested his shield and I left. And then one other time I was engineering something for Cobra Mark V, I think. And I think I was at, it was some new guns or something. Anyway, I was at Todd the Blaster's place. And when I took off from there, I had noticed that there was somebody in a Corvette there as well. When I took off, apparently he had just hovered over the pad waiting. And as soon as I took off, before my scanner even came on, he started blasting me with who knows what.
No.
But I'm sorry. Like you can't kill me in that ship. Not it's not gonna happen. So one boost and I'm just looking back at him like, huh. But
that's why you engineer your thrusters first.
Yeah, I engineer my thrusters before I ever take off. I was getting called away. I was getting a phone call from my wife, like right in that moment. I was like, oh, I got to run away from this guy. Because that was somebody pretty low combat rank too. And who knows, maybe just got their Corvette. I would have loved to test that shield with my Cobra Mark V, because that would have been a fun kill too. But anyway, didn't get to do it. So far I've not been able to complete any of those instances. I had to just leave. So
I have been interdicted by one Federation guy who I escaped from because my ship was so much faster than theirs. And then I was engineering a shield on my T10. And when I came off the pad, this Cobra Mark V follows me out of the no fire zone and then immediately just starts lighting me up, right?
yeah.
And my T10 has turrets on it, so I pressed a button to fire, and for the entire fight, right up until just before I exploded, I thought my turrets were firing and he had like an invincible prismatic or something. Turns out my turrets were still in forward fire only mode because I was doing thargoid stuff with that ship last. So I gave some federal guy a cool story to tell his buddies about how he took out a T10 in his Cobra Mark V. Find me again, buddy. See if you can do it. I'm just saying.
Hopefully there'll be more. I see a lot of people doing power play in a Corvette.
Oh,
goody.
Corvette, easy to kill if you're in a smaller, faster ship.
Yeah, it tends to be the hardest to kill large, fastest turning. That's the thing, but it's still a large ship. So I don't know. We'll see. See how it goes. I'm up for it.
I was gonna say, go with cannons that can get, or plasma, something that can get through the shield, and just target their shield generator until it's dead.
Yeah, well, usually I would probably aim for FSD on a player ship.
Yep.
Because I don't want them leaving. If I took the time to take out a Corvette shield, I don't want them leaving.
Right.
And I don't run around with ground bombs because I'm not actually like there hunting for that. So I'm not going to have any other way of keeping them.
Now, what about those rails that like shut down the shield banks? Like when someone decides to hit their shield banks.
Yeah.
Those rails are also, forget what the experimental is for that one, but that's also one way to deal with
reverb
Corvettes.
cascade.
Yeah.
Well, all it does is nullify a portion of the regenerative capacity of the cell bank.
It doesn't shut the shields down altogether?
No, it doesn't directly damage the shield. The railgun is the reverb do I have that right? I think it's reverb cascade. Anyway, that railgun mod, it makes it so like each shot deletes some of the shield reinforcement that while it's actively charging.
Okay.
There's a torpedo mod, and I think mines can do this as well. Is that reverb? I should get the right name. We're on a friggin' podcast. Reverb cascade. I just haven't done this in it. Reverberating cascade is a experimental effect for munitions. Oh, okay. So reverb cascade is the one that directly damages shields. So this can go on mines or torpedoes. And if you connect with the ship, it directly damages the shield generator module.
Can't cannons get those too, or am I thinking of something else?
Mines and torpedoes. Right, the railgun one. What is the? Let's just look up railgun because I can't remember the name of it. But that's the one that nullifies cell banks. So we are just going to skip down to modifications, experimental effects. It is feedback cascade.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
No wonder I had it mixed up.
Yeah, okay.
Feedback cascade. So this is one where you shoot a ship when you see it doing that sort of rippling effect when they're charging up the cell bank. So this is while the cell bank is charging before it actually deploys the charge into the shield. You want to shoot that with your reverb cascade railguns. And it is affected by the size. So like the bigger gun, the size 2 railgun will do more canceling effect. But 3 shots from a size 2 is supposed to, I think, fully cancel any cell bank. So they will charge, they will get all the heat, they will spend their cell bank, but they'll get no benefit to their shield from it. But it doesn't damage the shield generator or anything. So that's a good one if people are going to be using that. I also tend to not have that on anymore because I've just gotten out of the habit of railguns, personally. But it's a good one to have.
Nice
for that. And I have never fired a torpedo.
I have.
Torpedoes are fun, especially on ships that are running away.
But they're pretty slow. Torpedoes.
They are. You want to be closer.
They take a long time. They have a long arm time. Yeah.
But holy crap, when they do hit and they hit right, it's like say bye to that module. Back in the day, I was playing around with 2 torpedo launchers on a dropship just for funsies. And I fired them both at a vulture that had full shields and full health while I had their power plant targeted, and the vulture ceased to exist.
Yeah, it's a
Wow.
high damage munition. You're thinking that it's going to be difficult to connect. You know, that's the point of it.
Yep.
But it's a lot more damage than a missile and so on. But
10,000 damage according to its stats on EDSY.
what?
10,000.
Hold on.
I don't think I'm making that up.
Hold the phone. Okay, so let's get a torpedo launcher and put it on this ship. Where's the T's? Torpedoes. Okay, so here's a torpedo pylon. The damage is 120. Where did you read 10,000?
Hold on. Did you change something? I
didn't-
on EDSY.
I didn't mod this or anything. The only mods you can do, let's see. So let's give it sturdy. That doesn't change the
10,000
damage.
armor piercing. That's where I got that from.
Oh, okay, yes. So, and if you give it sturdy
So
mod,
if
it's
you hit, it's
16,000
going
armor
in.
piercing.
Yeah.
Okay, but no ship has an armor rating much above like 96 or something like that. Like a
Right,
Type 10 or something has the highest. So that doesn't do anything for you. Once you're over that number, that just means it's doing full damage to every ship. It doesn't add any bonus damage. You know.
No, yeah. For a long time, I thought that was the damage it did, and I kept saying, "Why is nobody
Okay.
using these?"
So the factor about a torpedo, I'm reading over the stats. The breach chance, min and max, are both 100%. So that means it always breaches
it's
hull
going
and
in.
damages modules, and the damage to modules, breach damage is 60. So it's doing half of its damage to modules and half of its damage to hull, but it's 100% of the time going to deal that damage just like that. So that's why. So that means each torpedo is doing 60. So when I put reverberating cascade on this torpedo, every hit is doing 60 damage to that shield generator because it targets the shield generator directly. And that happens through shields, right? I mean, that's the whole point.
Yeah, it can go through shields.
That it's directly dealing that. But it goes 250 meters a second.
Thought it went faster than that. I thought it was going like 700.
No, it's pretty damn
250.
slow.
Oh,
250.
You got to be right up there on their ship.
I have no, but right up there, you say. Let's look at what our arm distance is. Does it say mount mass boot time? No. Armor piercing. Hold on. I got to go back to the wiki. Do I have to go back to the wiki for this?
You have to go back to the wiki for this.
Damn. All right. Hold on. Elite dangerous torpedo. What else are we going to talk about, right? All right. There's an arming distance for all the ordnance, right?
Yeah.
Most of them are pretty short, like
Yeah, seeker missiles is right out of the barrel. Same for dumbfire missiles.
the pack hounds is like 500 meters or something. It's a little bit further
It's
out.
a bit out there, but it's still pretty close when you're going at the speeds we're going.
God, they're not telling me here either.
I can't find it, but I
Find on
swear
page.
torpedoes was like 700 meters.
It doesn't say anything on the wiki about arming distance. Maybe they don't have an arming distance.
We'll have to science that later. I do have a couple torpedo tubes sitting in storage. So
The lock takes 10 seconds, much longer than a seeker missile.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're basically immune to point defense, although I bet you those focused point defense might do something. They are affected by ECMs, of course, as all ordnance is. And they have no reserve ammo capacity, right? So
yeah,
your
can't
size
reload
of
them.
gun is the number of torpedoes you have, and you can't reload them.
Yeah,
Well-
Lark, you can take your torpedoes and shoot them at my ASP Explorer because it has those focused point defenses sitting right on top. It was my it was my go-to for Guardian. because it has like a 5,000 meter range. It's
Yeah, you
like
could just stay out there forever
Yeah.
while it's picking
And
up metal.
additional armor piercing or something.
Yeah.
It's it would probably still take a while for them to chew through, but yeah, it's very difficult
have
for
to
a
explain
regular
it to
one.
that. Let me check my storage, see if I still.
But 250 meters a second, like I have no ships that can't go faster than that backwards.
Yeah, you can do that with
boost.
two pips.
Yeah, like that's you can
In
just
my
watch
mind,
it.
the torpedo has always been like the thing you open up with when you sneak up on someone or drift up behind them and just lay into them with one or two of those and then start using your normal guns. You know what I mean?
I think, look, I've seen some videos, right, where somebody comes in and just immediately drops like 6 torpedoes and then pursues the ship they're chasing. And in this particular, this is a long time ago, but the trick, like they've got time to chat in local chat about it, like. And the
That's
ship's
funny.
just like, they want to play with it. And the guy who was trying to get the kill, says, yeah, people like to test themselves with them. They get excited and they think they can easily outrun it. So why not play with it for a little while? And then they make a mistake. And pretty soon the ship's dead. The shield generator goes down and that's it.
Well, if you see the size of them, like with the size of these ships, the torpedoes, for all intents and purposes, are a cruise missile. So it is not to be messed around with.
Yeah. Or you have, like a wing situation and in the chaos of it all, right? Somebody has torps and one of them finally connects, kind of thing.
So Bloom, I have a size 3 launcher that is unengineered, and I have a size 2 torpedo launcher that is sturdy mount with mass lock munitions on it.
Cool.
So we'll have to do some testing with those sometime.
Yeah, let's do testing, and I'll bring my ASP.
Yeah.
So.
All right, what are we doing? What's left?
What's left?
That was fun.
What's left is to talk about what's going on in the community corner. Distance Cruise 3. After some polling, we shall actually be doing a mass jump together. It will be Saturday, January 25th. Time of the jump is still being worked on. I don't know what time works best for everybody. We're still talking about it. Get involved. I'm also, as soon as this podcast is over, going to be putting up a channel for suggestions for events all the way up to the final crossroads point where you either go to Colonia or all the way out to Dryman's Point. So we can have some shenanigans and contests while we're out there in the black for things like, hopefully we can pull this off, Loose Screws mugs or maybe a sweater or things like that. Get some merch involved in this business.
Definitely.
So if you have some suggestions for activities we can do while we're out there together, go ahead and leave it in the suggestion box channel under Distance Cruise 3, which
torpedo races.
There you go.
And that channel will be going up right after this podcast is done.
Fabulous.
Oh, goodness. Let me see. I don't know if Buckyball's in the off season or not. I checked in their Discord. Let me check again.
We're doing a lot of this episode.
Yeah, we are. We're starting so strong for the new year. Just so good. Yes, Buckyball is in the off season. But the Elite Racer season, which is SRV racing, is about to begin, according to those in the Buckyball Discord. So if you want to get involved with some crazy SRV shenanigans, trust me, these guys are the guys to talk to. These people fly SRVs. It's insane.
And not just SRVs.
They do Scorpions?
The Scorpion is an SRV.
No, but is there like a rule where like which one you can use? I mean, I don't know.
Well, the Scorpion is tremendously slower.
It doesn't fly as well
but
either because it's not.
But they
light.
typically, it's very heavy. Yeah, it doesn't have good boosters. But like Buckyball is not exclusive to SRV surface races. Is all I meant.
Yeah. But yeah, the Elite Racers who do just SRVs are gearing up for their season. So if you want to get involved in that, check them out in their Discord. There's a link, I believe, in the show notes, or you can just Google Elite Dangerous Buckyball and it'll take you straight to them.
I mean, is it so Buckyball versus Elite Racers? Am I confused about what we're talking about?
Yes.
Well, buckyball
Different
is sort of
clubs.
yeah,
correct.
but it's different seasons. It's like football
Okay.
versus baseball.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
you said elite racers, and then you said just go to the buckyball and you'll find them. So,
Well, the
okay,
buckyball-
I'll
talking
trust you.
about it
has
there. That's
goat-
all I know. Alex,
Okay.
feel
Yeah.
free to correct me in the morning, and I'm sorry in advance.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know either. So
Oh shoot! And
That's why we
that
got to
will-
get Indigo on this. He knows the
Right.
buckyball better than us.
yeah.
All right, but other than talking about how much I love my Asp Scout, that is all I got for tonight, gentlemen.
We got a show.
That's it. Pin it.
Pin it. All right, if you want to get involved with Loose Screws, you can go to loosescrewsed.com. That's loosescrewsed.com. There's a link to our Discord, also to our Patreon, which we use all the money to just put right back in the community, usually in the form of merch or sometimes in the form of helping commanders if they need it. So yeah, just get involved. We're a good bunch of guys. I promise. We don't bite too hard. But we
Unless
do
I
bite.
asked.
It's like dogs play and bite, that kind of
Yeah.
bite.
Yeah, exactly.
It leaves a little mark, but they're not like puncturing the skin. It's just because they don't really realize that you don't have fur.
Yeah.
It's that kind of bite. So
All right. Well, with that, I would like to thank Commander Trax for joining mid-stream. I would like to thank Commander Billmeanwin for being here with me, and I'm Commander Lark Shadow. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
everybody.